Hello everyone. Today I'm here to present my paper in this e-conference on contemporary aspects in humanities, social science and commerce. Title of the paper is Efficacy of an Online Program to Raise Awareness about Inclusive Education for Secondary School Teachers. Variable of the study, independent variable is Inclusive Education Awareness Program and dependent variable is awareness of inclusive education of secondary school teachers. Demographic variable is teaching experience. Objective of the study. First one is to evaluate the efficacy of the Inclusive Education Awareness Program in between the mean score of the pre-test and post-test of the experimental group concerning teaching experience. Second one is to assess the efficacy of the Inclusive Education Awareness Program in between mean score of post-test of the experimental group and the control group based on teaching experience. Hypothesis. First null hypothesis is there is no statistically significant difference in mean score of awareness of inclusive education between the pre-test and post-test of the experimental group concerning teaching experience. Second null hypothesis is there is no statistically significant difference in mean scores of awareness of inclusive education between the experimental group and the control group after the post-test based on teaching experience. Sampling of the study. In the control group, there are 65 secondary school teachers from 11 schools, and in the experimental group, there are 71 secondary school teachers from 11 schools. Research methodology of the study. Non-equivalent pre-test post-test control group design was employed in this study. It is one of the type of quasi-experimental design. In this design, there is one control group and one experimental group. In the control group, pre-test and post-test have been given, but treatment have not given. And in the experimental group, pre-test and post-test have been conducted, but treatment given. Tool of the study, self-propelled tool was used. The researcher created the questionnaire for the Inclusive Education Awareness Program. There were 50 questions total and they were divided into 6 categories. An introduction to inclusive education, historical and policy context, identifying and fostering children with special needs, use of ICT in inclusive education, and developing of teaching learning practices. Scoring pattern. Each of the 4 options received a score 1 for correct answer and 0 for incorrect answer. Validity and reliability. Tool validated by 9 experts in the education and 1 in the special education field. And reliability 0.89 Cronbach alpha and 0.90 split half reliability. It is considered high reliability. Now data analysis. The table shows the p-value obtained as 0.0049. A p-value less than 0.05 is typically considered to be statistically significant, in which case the null hypothesis is rejected. And here graph is also showing the comparison of mean scores between pre-test and post-test of the experimental group. And it shows post-test score is higher than pre-test score. Comparison between post-test mean score of control group and experimental group. In this table, it shows that p-value have been obtained as 0.00215. A p-value less than 0.05 is typically considered to be statistically significant, in which case the null hypothesis is rejected. Graph is also showing comparison between post-test mean score of control group and experimental group. Major findings of the studies. The post-test mean score of inclusive education awareness of secondary school teachers in the experimental group on the basis of teaching experience was significantly higher than the pre-test mean score of secondary school teachers in the experimental group on the basis of teaching experience. It means that the mean post-test score of secondary school teachers on the basis of teaching experience has enhanced due to the implementation of an inclusive education awareness program. With less than 5 years, more than 5 years, and more than 10 years of experience, secondary school teachers have improved their awareness of inclusive education. And there was a remarkable difference in the mean post-test score of secondary school teachers based on their teaching experience, which was significantly higher than the pre-test mean score of the secondary school teachers in the control group and the experimental group on the basis of less than 5 years, more than 5 years, and more than 10 years teaching experience. It means that the mean score of post-test of secondary school teachers on the basis of teaching experiences has increased due to the implementation of an inclusive education awareness program. Conclusion. The implementation of an inclusive education awareness program was effective. Less than 5 years, more than 5 years, and more than 10 years experience of teachers has increased the post-test score of the experimental group as compared to control group's post-test score. In the experimental group, the post-test score shows improvement in the awareness of inclusive education as compared to the pre-test score of the experimental group. Thus, we can say that this type of awareness program should be organized for the teachers. These are the references. Thank you for listening.